this whole time.
No,
I know I've been
public.
hiding it so well.
No way.
Oh my
I
God.
used Annie's
I
profile
would have never
pic.
known.
You would have never known. Oh my
I
gosh.
can't trust anyone
my
these days. I
goodness.
can't believe it.
I know.
Wow.
Ooh, here's a fun fact. I didn't draw or write anything Zelda for the longest time, even though it's my favorite, because I thought I wasn't good enough to do anything with it for the longest time.
No.
I held it in that too high esteem, but today's a different day.
But Dark Souls is low enough.
Yeah.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls is the worst.
Yeah.
It is the less worthy of the franchise.
Damn.
Oh,
Sorry,
wow.
Dark Souls. I wouldn't say
Damn,
that. I would
No.
not.
You would not say
I
that,
wouldn't
no.
say that.
Never ever.
What's the least
It's
worthy?
totally-
Pokemon. There we go.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
I have no idea how I'd do a Pokemon fic if I tried, and I have thought about it.
Nuzlocke.
What would it be about?
Nuzlocke.
That's the question.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I didn't join the RP, because I was just like, I don't know how to roleplay Pokemon.
Well,
Me neither.
Mhm.
But it
I
looks
don't know,
fun, like
roleplay,
from
it
what
feels
I've
like it feels like it'd be a bit easier with the other people. It's just trying to figure out my own plot. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you do have a point there.
Ugh,
I just like Pokemon.
I do too.
I wanna
just like
be the
Pokemon.
very best.
I want to be a shiny Umbreon that can talk
Aw.
like Detective Pikachu.
Oh my gosh. Wait, have you played any of the
Because-
Mystery Dungeon games?
No, I
Mystery
haven't.
Dungeon, my
But I hear
beloved.
they're good.
I love them
They're so
sorry.
good.
Oh,
They're
that's
so good. They are. They're
They're
like,
so good.
oh.
The amount of times I have replayed Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky is downright atrocious.
I need that game. It's
I've
like a
replayed it
God's
over and over again. Just,
man, I think-
it's so good.
I looked it up, and apparently it costs like $120 to get it for the DS nowadays.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
it's
I'm
like,
never
what?
going to lose mine. I am never
That's like
going to
Nintendo
sell
Switch
mine.
2,
I am
right?
keeping it safe where I know where it is.
God, I know.
Oh,
Nintendo
yeah.
fucking needs to get on that.
No,
They
seriously.
need to port all their old games to the new console.
I guess I'm gonna have to find a way to legally play it.
I mean, hey,
Legally.
what
I mean,
makes you say
legally
legally?
in quotation marks.
Right.
Listen, if the company doesn't support that game anymore, it's for an outdated console, then why would they be mad?
yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
If
You'd
I
be
acquired it?
surprised.
It's, they're not making money for it. They're not making money from it either way.
Yeah.
They're like, no, it's our property to sit on and do nothing with.
I know.
Yes!
It makes
I
me
love
so
that.
mad that they do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So many that I would play. Oh my gosh.
What do you mean the file size is too big? Fuck you, Discord.
No.
Discord's like,
Our
no.
fun is too big.
Discord's like, no. What is that thing?
That's
Who is
from
this?
That's Wimbley. That's from Smiling
Wimbley.
Friends.
Oh, I
Smiling Friend.
had
good-
no idea.
It's good you don't know about that. 'Cause
My IP to sit on and do nothing with.
also,
That's
one
it,
of the
that's
characters in
that's
that
it.
show is
Oh my
named Pim.
gosh.
I love Pim.
Yeah.
If I had a dime for every time I heard Pim in the last 2 days, I'd have two.
Amazing.
See there he is.
I hope I hear Pim tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh my god. Pikachu doing freaking
Oh, you're doing the Tekken
She
thing.
is amazing. Look at
Yeah,
her.
Yes,
Look
I'm
at her.
trying to find. I'm trying to
Like,
find the
listen.
Tekken outro right now. Oh, here we go.
This was very
Oh, wait, that's not the
punchable, but,
same.
like I do love Pikachu.
Is that
I love Pikachu.
Unironically.
honey?
I would punt
He does look
Pikachu.
cute in the wrestler
Yes.
outfit.
Punt and hug. Both.
You
I mean, look at that.
Pikachu, that's so funny.
That's not King. That's Dragonov. What the hell?
I'm playing
Can
Pokemon Sleep.
Tekken win?
Pokemon
Pokemon
Sleep.
Sleep is good.
Yeah.
I
Sleep
also
is
like
good.
just sleeping.
I just like
We made the same joke.
Nice. That's how you know we're
Pokemon
buddies.
EP.
Pokemon EP Snork Mimi.
Snark Mimi.
Snork Mimi.
Angshu. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Mhm.
Pokemon EP. Yeah, I'm trying to find the GIF, honey. It's no one made it.
I'm not finding it either. I'm trying as hard as I can. Oh well, whatever.
Oh, is this it? Oh, it's because is it Armor King? Is that why?
Is it Armor King?
There you
Yes,
go,
it's
yeah.
Armor King. There it
I
is.
love that.
Yeah, and that's why it's
Oh,
called
wait, and
Pokken Tournament.
Pikachu's doing that pose?
Pikachu's
Yeah, because
Armor King.
it's Pokken
'Cause it's
Tournament, and then
Tekken.
it's based off of Tekken Tournament.
It's Tekken, but with Pokemon, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ow.
Anyway, that was a long way to say we should
like
be reading now.
We should read it now. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
The main point of these streams.
I know.
Oopsies.
You mean the main point isn't to talk about Pokken and Tekken?
Maybe not.
Okay, well if you say so. I for one am excited to hear about this one from our own Night Honeybee.
Yay!
Our shared beat
Oh my goodness.
has no archive warnings apply for general audiences. The fandom is Metaphor Fantasio. The relationship is protagonist and Leon Stroll. It has pining, dancing, emotions, pre-relationship, slight alcohol use, very implied, set at Virga Island? Or is that Virga?
Virga.
Virga. That's kind of it. Pretty much.
That's how I pronounce it, at least.
Comfort, the best is your honor. Oh, and I just heard a knock at my door, so give me one moment.
Oh,
Okie
that's crazy.
dokie.
I heard that too.
Oh,
I was like, oh my god,
scary.
did someone knock on my window? What's happening?
Oh no,
Uh-oh.
Skilly.
Oh god.
It's a ghost.
So anyways, about Armor King.
Daddy.
It's the ghost of Virga Island.
Virga Island.
Anyways, back to the Virgin Islands.
Virgin
Stroll. That's where Stroll goes.
Right.
They won't be called the Virgin Islands after I go there.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna shut up now. Oh my goodness.
Alright,
Summary. A sharp exhale wrenched itself from Stroll's lungs when he bumped too hard into someone, and he stepped back to apologize, but the person clung to him, clung to him. There you are, said Will, his blue and yellow eyes darting between Stroll's, a fuzzy giddiness to his expression. His hands clutched Stroll's coat, tight, and the sea of bodies around them glowed with fire and moonlight. Now, with the scene set, with the sun, let me do some because my headset will shut off if I don't have something playing in the background. So there we go. Voices and music rolled across the sand and sea, gathering high in the palms that swayed to their rhythmic beat. Light flickered bright from the massive bonfire on the beach, embers glowing a searing, lively red within the dried palm leaves of the dragon sculpture. The music swelled, Mustari dancing around the roaring flames beneath the light of the moon, dragon's tears fruit only adding to the heat in everyone's blood. Stroll, meanwhile, sat at one of the tables further down the beach, alone. His fingers tapped the bead upon the wood, a little off, his own blood thick and heavy with the cocktail of dragon's tears within it. His other hand held his chin in his palm, body leaning over the table, the edge of it digging into his ribs, but he was too dazed to move. "You're all right, lad." Large, white ears entered Stroll's vision, and slow. He dragged his gaze down toward the ground, taking a moment before he focused on Heismay's form. "Not quite used to these effects, eh?" Stroll shifted his palm up his face, dragging his fingers through his hairline. "It certainly hasn't helped. Not eating much, all the energy spent getting through the temple." Asmi leapt up onto the beef potatoes bench, grasping Stroll's shoulder. "Well, no wonder. I should be the one in your stead, boy. Look around. So many youngsters are still enjoying the festivities. Where's your—" Here he curled one hand into a clawed fist, waving it before Stroll. "Incessant youthful energy." A grimace grew on Stroll's face, reaching all the way to his brow. "Like I just said, the temple." A sigh spilled off his lips. Gaze drifting to the crowd down the beach, their swaying, their waves of limbs and laughter. None of them lingered in Stroll's vision, though, unfocused and unfamiliar. Ah! A small, sly noise that left Heismay's mouth pulled at something in Stroll's chest, ripping it open and sending a blaring, obnoxious heat to his face. Odd, definitely odd. Stroll threw himself up, Heismay moving back and sitting on the bench. Stroll searched for the concept of a sentence in his mouth, but found only syllables, it growing worse and worse as the little smirk expanding upon Heismay's fur at that deep look of knowing in Heismay's damned massive red eyes. "I didn't say anything, lad." Oh, but Heismay's little smirk said it all, didn't it? I, I know that what you're thinking isn't anything good, Stroll said, indignant, or fair. A laugh slipped off Hagsby's tongue. "Not fair. I am not so childish." He clicked his tongue at Stroll, the corners of his lips twitching, as though he was holding back more laughter. "I merely observe." Flashes of fire seared up Stroll's face, and he didn't quite know what to do with himself, his body, all of him taking up too much space and gathering too much heat. He squirmed in his seat, picking at the hem of his jacket with his fingers, wishing he had anything else to occupy his hands, anything to bury his face into. "Well, I'm doing just fine right here, so you can take your observations somewhere else." Heisman only grew more sly. Stroll leaned back on the table, turning his head toward his raised hand. "Perhaps I shall." At first Stroll saw him off, slipping in a curt "good" before Heismay padded off into the festivities, and the realization struck him like a bolt of lightning. Heismay was getting someone. "Wait!" he called after the Ujif, stumbling away from the table and toward the crowd. But this, of course, was a time when Heismay didn't wish to be found, and Stroll's senses weren't at their best. His feet sank into the sand with each step, the bonfire's glow casting harsh shadows on him and the crowd around him. Surely it couldn't be so difficult finding a Ujif in a field of Mustari, but a sharp exhale wrenched itself from Stroll's lungs when he bumped too hard into someone, and he stepped back to apologize, but the person clung to him, clung to him, clung to him. "There you are," said Will, his blue and yellow eyes darting between Stroll's, a fuzzy giddiness to his expression. His hands clutched Stroll's coat tight, tight, and the sea of bodies around them glowed with fire and moonlight. Stroll blinked, and a flash of white ears struck his peripheral, but he did not give Heisman the satisfaction of his attention. Not when such blistering heat wedged itself in his throat. Not when frustration, embarrassment, shock, anticipation swirled so wildly in his blood that he thought he'd faint. "You were looking for me?" Stroll's words left him hesitant, cautious. Will furrowed his brow, leaning, oh no, leaning closer to him. Stroll swallowed, begging the lump in his throat to follow. Will's hair tickled Stroll's nose, and Stroll repeated his question, unable to stop the tremor in his voice. Will nodded, leaning back, but his hand still held Stroll's jacket, and he swayed some to the drums, the thuds throbbing at the same strength as Stroll's heart. "I wanted to show you some things Yufa taught us." His voice rose up over the music, rattling in Stroll's head. "Follow me, all right?" Wait, Stroll began, but didn't finish as Will shifted his hands to grasp Stroll's lips locking up with a gentle pressure. Will began to move, falling into step with the movement of the crowd around them, too quickly for Stroll to comprehend, his footfalls a step behind, awkward and offbeat. But Will only laughed. The two of them twirling together, Will's body rocking back and forth, relaxed, while Stroll couldn't help his rigidness, this moment crashing against him like a gauntlet runner. Will's hands were warm. They were warm and calloused and gentle, and the crowd was a blur around the two of them, but Will's face was in focus, clear. His smile filled his entire face, cheeks rounded, eyes squinted, and he'd restart his motions after Stroll stumbled without any hint of annoyance, just laughing and trying to explain over the noise, but Stroll couldn't focus on more than one thing, his thoughts taking over him, though he did his best to follow Will's example, the music filling his blood this moment, adding more fuel to the fire within and out. The drums slowed some, their pounding a low, anticipatory thrum, and Will moved behind Stroll now, his palms sliding over the backs of Stroll's hands, his body close, so close, and Stroll's senses closed in on themselves. All he could feel was the drums and the heat and the pressure of Will's hands on his, of Will's chest against his back, and Stroll wasn't sure what he was looking at or stepping toward, but Will guided him anyhow, guided him forward and back and around, and Stroll thought he'd faint, or even thought he'd wake up from some evil, questionable dream, but at least then he could explain and forget it like nothing had happened, and "Are you having fun?" came Will's voice. A faint hint of worry within his words, close to Stroll's ear. "Leon?" Stroll's knees wobbled, and he began to turn, then to take a breath, a break, but he caught his foot atop Will's, and Will teetered over with a gasp, and Stroll jerked an arm out, barely catching Will by his waist, and Stroll gulped for air like he'd been back in the fight with the dragon after hours and hours of traversing the temple, and instead of a dragon's glinting gaze, he was face to face with Will's, the both of them panting, off balance in more ways than one. The sea of bodies around them continued on like the two of them weren't even here, and Stroll found he couldn't move, could hardly even breathe, unable to catch his breath enough, each breath too shallow regardless to prevent his chest from moving against Will too much. The drums clacked and throbbed, picking up again, but their beat was muffled in Stroll's head, and Will blinked, slow, so slow. His lips parted, the shock slipping off his face and becoming something, something Stroll couldn't place. And then Will lifted his arms and wrapped them around Stroll's neck, and Stroll shivered, gulping, but Will only smiled, the corner of his lips twitching upward. "Looks like I'm still getting the hang of it," he said, soft enough that Stroll had to lean closer, skin alight. "You—" But Stroll didn't finish. Will pulling himself up and stepping back, the space between them odd now, despite the relief it gave Stroll. Will stared at him for a moment, a gentleness in his eyes, before he held out a hand and gave a shallow bow. "Could we try again?" Again? Stroll wasn't sure if his body could take much more, blistering with anxiety and nerves. But despite that, despite everything, he eyed Will's hand, that hand that he'd shook time and time again, and he took it, his fingers brushing against Will's palm before sliding into place at his wrist. And there, Will's hand twitched, almost like a shiver. The two locked eyes, and Stroll could taste his heart, could feel it pulsing against the back of his tongue, in his ears. But the both of them didn't say a word now, Will closing his eyes for a moment, almost like he was drawing the music back into his blood, and Stroll could only watch, unable to avert his gaze. Will reached for his other hand, and Stroll obliged, and Will opened his eyes again, glancing to the side, a shy grin forming on his face. It might be easier for Eva to show you instead. No, the word rushed out of Stroll's mouth before he could comprehend he'd said it. That is, I mean, I wouldn't want to, or rather, anything he could say fell apart. For what excuse could there be other than the fact that Stroll he wanted to. "I quite enjoy dancing with you," he said, and a second later all the heat in his blood rushed to his head, blistering and boiling, and he glanced away toward the bonfire, the heat nigh unbearable, but at least it was outside of his body. His words echoed in his head, and every second now lasted what felt like forever. How could Will think his words were true? Stroll had been so rigid, so uncertain, unable to focus on his footwork or the music, just Will's touch, Will's presence, Will's eyes. Even now it was the same. Will's question rotated in Stroll's head now. Had Will been having fun himself? Or was Stroll so unable to get out of his own head that it had been like dancing with a mannequin? Stroll set his jaw and squeezed Will's hands. I want to try again, he breathed, and after a beat he repeated it, louder, over the music. Will lit up, eyes sparking with firelight, and Stroll's shoulders relaxed, a more gentle fire lighting within him now, soft and pleasant. Will you allow me to? Of course. A laugh eased off Will's tongue, and he stepped closer, expression so soft, so at ease, his fingers lacing between Stroll's now, their contact less a bubbling flame and more a blanket of pressure. Ready? Stroll nodded, and Will began to move, falling into line with the drums like he was made from the beat, and this time Stroll let himself follow his captain without qualms, easing his fire into the music and not the man before him, letting his body fall into step a moment behind Will's. Even with him still getting used to the beat, the steps, a grin grew upon his face as the two of them spun together, swayed together, stopped together to the drums, the music pulsing within Stroll's blood, loosening his limbs, his heart. A tightness grew in his chest at the exertion, but he didn't mind, couldn't care, not when Will stood before him, their hands clasped to not move too far apart, his eyes half shut and mouth parted in a broad, easy smile as he laughed and pulled Stroll along. The drums rumbled through Stroll's bones, and he stalled again, Will's relaxed expression snapping open in surprise. But then Stroll pulled Will along, and Will's eyes crinkled at the edges, his grip tightening on Stroll's, and Stroll couldn't help but laugh too. Clumsy, but leading Will with as much confidence as he could muster. They flowed along with the crowd, pushing and pulling each other, nearly stepping on each other's feet, but laughing it off, their bodies swaying in tune to the others now, back and forth, the drums thrumming again and pounding against Stroll's heart and lungs until he breathed the music, the motions, the feel of Will's hands in his own. And as his breath grew hot in his lungs, as his arms and legs strained with the exertion, the drums rolled in a beat too quick to follow, and Will took over again, lifting one hand and spinning beneath Stroll's arm, and Stroll's breath caught in his throat, the drums filling the air until he couldn't even think, could only watch Will turn and turn, helping him how he could, and then the drums clashed with a harsh finality, and so too did Will stop, dizzy, laughing so loud now without the music, and tumbled against Stroll's chest to catch his breath. Again Stroll heated, unsure where to put his hands, Will's body warm against his chest, cheek nestled against Stroll's shoulder. Will shuddered against him, breaths heavy, deep. Could he hear Stroll's pounding heart? Did he think it was just because of the dance? Eventually, after what felt like eons, Will lifted his head, close, too close, and met Stroll's gaze, mirth in his heterochromatic eyes. Stroll could feel his breath on his chin. Stroll could see the sheen of sweat on his brow. And Stroll watched as Will licked his lips, slow and deliberate, still panting, some for air. One corner of Will's mouth twitched up and then back down, quivering, fighting against the movement. He turned his head then, breaking whatever spell they'd been under, and the white noise of the crowd filled Stroll's ears, and he stepped back, breaking their contact. It grew cold, too cold then, and Stroll realized he craved Will's warmth. He swallowed. Oh, he swallowed, the thought swirling round and round in his head like the Mustaris dancing. Would you? He stopped, clearing his throat from whatever foul emotion that caused it to crack of all things. Would you Would you like to get some water with me? Please. Will's hands went to the belt around his waist, fiddling with it. His gaze was somewhere on Stroll's shoulder or collar. Stroll couldn't quite tell, no longer able to catch Will's gaze in his own. Not that Stroll minded, as that sounded like too much for him right now as well. He reached out his hand, palm up, and tilted his head. Follow me, he said, timid, a little sly, and Will smiled and took his hand without a moment's hesitation. The warmth there, between them, it felt right. Stroll could only hope that whatever had happened between them here wouldn't break once they left. I'm a Will so girly. If I say I'm not, then it isn't me. Talk to me about Will Stroll anywhere I am. Ancient to the years, not honeybee.
Oh my gosh, that was great.
Oh! Oh!
Yeah, that was so much fun to read.
I
That
was
was
like,
amazing.
I was going through it like I was reading it for the first time, not having written it. That was great. You read so well. Oh my goodness.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I loved
Yeah.
it.
Ah! I love them.
They're good. Oh, they're good. Oh my gosh, Stroll is such a nerd.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
very
such a
cute.
little nerd. I love him.
Such a little
He's my guy. Oh my god. Oh,
He's your little guy.
he's so down bad.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, don't step on my computer. Hi. My little kitty. Hi, baby.
Hazel
She's
got
got
excited.
sleepy eyes right now. Hazel,
Oh.
she did get excited. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
That was fun. Good job, both of you.
Thanks.
That was
Thank
fantastic.
you all.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for reading.
Oh, yes. I'll do what it can too. I've been having a lot of energy. You know what's interesting is I actually quit drinking coffee recently. So I always find that when I don't drink coffee, I get way more energy. It's just like an
Oh.
interesting thing.
Interesting.
Oh, also,
Yeah.
Stag, you're muted if you wanted to be unmuted.
I was working on something, so I was quiet anyways. But I
Oh,
am.
yeah.
But I did come to unmute to say coffee does calm me down, so that might be the same for you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I have more energy.
Yeah, I've heard about like when like getting off of like caffeine, like there's like a like recession symptoms that can like come up of like being like still activated by coffee, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was good for you
interesting.
though.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh.
It was very impressive.
Now let's see. We do have a few more. Let me see what we got here.
Yippee.
Oh, we could do. Yeah. Okay. We could do one of Stag's next.
Yay.
I will.
I forget
I
which
will
one
have-
we were on though, because
We just read the uncle's one, so we'll be at Setlith.
set list. Oh boy. Hold up. Is that Dinan D Ranai?
No,
No,
that's the one
sorry.
we just read.
Unconvinced?
Like, I should have posted the.
Oh,
series.
Tactile. Okay. The intriguing ability of a settler to accidentally matchmake. Okay, you sent the short stories instead, so I got confused.
Like, I did.
Eh. Unless that's what popped up. Hold on, maybe you didn't. Let me see. I got the list here. Okay, no, you didn't. You
I
sent the
might
right
have-
one. I just had it both on here.
I don't mind reading the short stories either.
Okay.
Whichever. As long as you link it because I also am lost at the moment.
I can't
That's
see
okay.
anything because my cat is in front of my monitor.
Hi, Hazel.
Right,
Right.
Hazel?
Hazel's now
Right,
night
Hazel, are
hunting.
you in front of my monitor? Oh my goodness. She's just looking around like nothing's wrong. Because it's not. Everything is just perfectly normal for her.
He's just a little idiot.
Just a,
Mhm.
just a little high.
There's
Just
not a
a,
lot going on up
that is my
there.
favorite excuse for
Oh,
everything.
and she's laying down now. Great.
Okay.
I'll join you for
I can't.
your reading session.
Yeah.
Maybe she could read
If
something.
Okay.
that'd be so funny. Could I be force muted because I cannot find my way to Discord and do that for myself?
No, you're
So-
fine right now. Oh, I just want to
Oh,
know,
okay.
Stag, do you want to do the intriguing ability of a set list, or do you want us to do
Yes, just give me a second.
Are you so tired? What are you tired for?
I'm not sure which other one you want. But yes. I'll send both right now, actually, so you can pick. First is the short stories. And second is
I'm
Tentacle.
just gonna do this.
Oh my god. I forgot that the music I put on the background was Mario, and I just hear like. I'm like, oh my god. Thank you, Mario. You too, buddy. The
Yay,
question
Hazel,
mark.
you're not supposed to eat that.
Mario's down. Oh my god.
Where the fuck am I? Alright, I got the thing done, so. I'd like to finish up Tim Tac Tao before moving on to one of the other series. If that's alright.
Okay. That is fine.
Look at this.
Alright, we'll do that.
Wait, so which one are we doing? One did you want to read?
We are reading the intriguing ability of a setlith to matchmake.
Let me send the link for that one then.
I already have.
Oh, thank you.
Perfecto. Let me link that in the chat.
Okay.
And I shall gladly read this one.
Yay.
Oh, yeah, you aren't kidding. That is short.
Oh, I would love to see.
Well, luckily for you, if you go to twitch.tv/
You too.
I have no screen with which I can do so.
What happened?
She's still in front of my laptop.
What?
Hazel, release your mom.
I know, for real. Let me try and take a picture. Okay, this is a good picture. Because it shows her big head, and of course now she moves.
She said,
was
sorry,
about
no
to
photos.
I was about
Yeah.
to say, can you not use your mobile phone to access stuff?
I could use my mobile phone. What's wrong with me?
Amazing. Oh, did I already have the Fic up already?
Yeah, I got it up.
Nice.
I think Honey is starting to pull it up though.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fine. Yeah,
Okay.
we good.
We good. I got it up.
Nice.
Okay, I am ready when y'all are.
Okie
Yeah.
dokie.
I'm ready.
And if Honey,
Alright.
I was about to say if Honey still needed to be force muted, but I saw she muted. So, Ainsai, come here. Tianahos called, anxiety clawing up his throat like nasty winter morning bile. Ensai, his beloved Setlith, had ran off after being spooked by a Romulan pushing another into Tianos. The two Romulans had tried sputtering an apology, recognizing a Duvek, but he paid them no mind. Making sure Ensai was safe was a higher priority. Setliths could be quick. He had already lost track of where she went, merely following the direction last seen. What was worse, he was not familiar with this town. The Duveks were visiting another side of the family, one not keen on half Romulans, so Tianahos and Veki had chosen to take a walk, then be subjected to unfair glares and offhanded remarks. Their uncles and Setliths, the only real saving grace. His ears burned with his ears burned, asking a few locals if they saw a Setlith run past. Feeling the barely hidden judgment as they answered, what upper-class Romulan couldn't keep their pets in line? It was certainly what he thought. Perhaps it was just his struck nerves. What would his Lord Uncle Torin think? Torin gifted him Ansai and Veaki Haruth, trusting them to be responsible enough to take care of something. And Ansai had been such a blessing. If Veaki or their mother wasn't there for him, she was, keeping him sane through life. To lose her. His eyes burned, barely contained tears, making it difficult to see. He tried to dry them and quell a sniff, not wishing to be seen in such a pitiable display. It was pathetic. Warren would be ashamed. The thought of turning back and facing his lord uncle about crossed his mind, or perhaps trying to meet up with his sister and asking her aid. He would never find Ainside at this rate. If only he hadn't forgotten the tracker at the manor. Loosely, he held on to hope. Maybe she would find her way back. Maybe she already had. Sighing, crestfallen, he prepared to go back, only for someone to nearly bump into him. What? I'm so sorry, they squeaked, eyes widening in horror as they took him in, his robes giving away his higher caste. I wasn't paying attention, and was just trying to find the Setless owner, and the boy gestured at the very familiar Setleth at his feet, who jumped at Tianaos. Ansai! Tianaos exclaimed, catching her with ease and unable to... Wonderful miswords, and unable to keep the grin from his face as she settled onto his shoulders. You're safe, where? He looked back at the boy, who had paled then quickly relaxed. He seemed about the same age as himself, though shorter, with pitch-black hair and dark brown eyes. His robes were brown with orange accents, something commonly seen with lower caste. Tiana's didn't recognize the house emblem. Still, Tiana found his ears burning in a more pleasant manner, and his heart skipped a beat. Getting a hold of himself, he asked, Where did you find her? I've been worried sick trying to find her. Oh, I found her hiding behind the garbage bin over there. He gestured down the alley beside him, rubbing the back of his neck. She seems quite spooked. I wouldn't doubt it, Tianos muttered, giving Ansai a sympathetic look and scratching under her chin. We're not from these parts. I'm usually better at keeping track of her, so thank you for finding her. He bowed slightly in respect, causing the other to blush shyly, not used to such regard from a higher caste. He bowed back. Yes, of course. I was planning to ask someone about the house emblem. I know the Duveks, I swear. I just didn't know where you lived. Tianaos chuckled, a small smirk gracing his features. That's quite all right. I appreciate you wanting to return her all the same. Besides, I technically live in Raytag, visiting some family that lives here, unfortunately. He didn't hide the displeasure upon mentioning his reasons for being there. though it made the other shift nervously. Not pleasant ones, I guess. No, no, they make a point to belittle me and my sister every chance they get. But enough about them. I want to know the lovely individual standing in front of me. He smiled at him again, taking in more of his features. The other was quite toned, no doubt used to working in the sun. Also thin. Was his house able to afford food? The other choked, face green as the sky. You, what? You heard me. Surely you have a name. He floundered a bit, a thousand things running through his mind. Was this real? A trick? A dream? A high caste being into someone so lower? It was. And someone so pretty, too. Takar, he swallowed, settling for one of his public nicknames. I'm called Takar. Tianahos' smile widened into a grin. Well, Takar, I'm Tianahos. The pleasure is mine.
Yeah.
Yay.
Love that.
Woo!
That was so cute at the end. Oh my gosh. The little smug, like, hello. Oh man. I love it when characters flirt.
I love your note at the end.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's.
How does it end?
I am not spoiling that. And honestly, I've been considering updating this, making this a multi-chapter thing to actually
Ooh,
show that development.
we
But
do love those.
until then, yeah, I'm glad that I guess my emotions still came off well. I wasn't really sure how I was reading.
Yeah, you did
Mhm.
great.
I think you did
Yeah.
great.
Mhm.
I like the writer and the reader.
Yeah.
And I
Nope.
got a
Excellent.
typo I gotta fix in this.
I did for the last fic too, for that. Just so that's clear.
What?
Oh, me saying I like the reader and the writer. I feel the same way towards the previous fic. Just so that's clear.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was awesome. That was awesome. Comma. What's next?
Next up is we have our very own Corey.
Yeah,
Me?
cool.
No
Oh my gosh.
Yay!
The GIF. Oh, it worked that time. The GIF of
That's
going by
exciting.
water.
I got the magic touch. We've established this.
You do.
Yay, Corey.
Yay!
I want to
Okay.
read it, but I'm nervous.
You got this.
Oh, I get that. Every time I think about reading my own fic, I'm like, but what if I don't?
You could ask one of
Yeah.
us if you
I
want
could
to,
do
but
it.
I believe
Oh,
in
I don't
you.
think I could do a high-pitched voice right now, though. I
Where-
don't think I could.
I-
Okay, I probably could. but
Where is that?
I refuse to.
Where's that other person?
I won't hit
Ludwig and
kudos till we're
Lawrence's
done
high
reading this
woman. What do we call?
upon your request.
What do we call him again? Like
Sorry, which one?
the Ludwig and Lawrence's hype woman.
Lucia?
Oh,
Lucia. Yeah, Lucia. I wish they were there
Oh, yeah, they were here.
To-
I remember
to
asking.
do readings.
Let me see
But
what she said.
if not, I'll read it myself.
They said they're. When I last asked, they said they might be working on their thesis. But what if I add right now? What if we all added right now?
If I want to
At the same
At
time.
everyone.
Be
Everyone
like,
loves it when that
what's going on?
happens.
No, don't
What's
add everyone,
going
please.
on? And I said,
No, I didn't add everyone. Just Lucia. Yeah.
I said, hey, what's going on?
I
Anyway.
think that we should be a boy band.
Yeah. Who's gonna be the Justin Timberlake? Get over here!
Get over here.
I am going to quickly be right back and get myself some food. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Have a good food.
Some food.
They didn't like our singing.
No,
For real.
you're not.
Working on a PowerPoint presentation. Working on reading Corey's. Hey.
Nice. Oh, Roadhog. I remember those fics you wrote. I was there. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, were you there that long ago?
I was. No,
Oh
no.
my
I read them like after you'd written them. They'd been there for a while, but still, I did
Okay.
read them. I
Still,
went
that's crazy.
back.
Wait, Hazel just picked up an envelope. What's wrong with you?
Messenger.
You're the only-
Oh my goodness.
The only other person I'll let read it. What? You don't want me to read it? I'll read it.
No,
Oh,
you
why
will not read it. You're too
Like,
goofy.
fuck no.
Sorry.
Why would I read it?
You're
What?
too goofy.
Was so
'Cause
good.
I'm too what?
Doing every other thing.
Goofy.
I'm too goofy? Oh,
Oh no.
that's so mean.
I'm not being mean.
No.
Like an extremely goofy movie.
Like, I mean, I am a goofy person, but I can be serious when I read.
Yeah.
I wouldn't read it goofily if you asked, because remember? Oh my gosh.
That
You're
gift is
codifying
what you
me
look
as
like when you're
goofy?
reading something.
That's not me. I'm so serious all the time. This is me. This is like, oh my god.
Oh, I know you do serious reading as well.
No, I'll do it. It's my thing, and
There we go.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know-
that's okay.
I know
That was just-
Halloween better than
This is me.
most of you, I presume.
It
Yeah.
probably- That's my
No,
serious face right there,
anyway.
you know.
Do you know what Halloween is about, or like the original too?
I
It's about-
the one guy who has the
Hot
mask
potato.
on.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
he killed people.
yeah, he killed
Yeah.
people. Yeah, exactly.
He
On
did a funny little
Halloween.
stabby on Halloween
On
night.
On Halloween, yeah.
Basically,
No.
he
Not
stabbed
Christmas.
his sister to death when he was 6, and then got put in a mental asylum until he was 21, where he broke out, and then like
At 6?
imprinted on a teenager named Laurie Strode, and basically stalks her for the entire movie, kills off her friends one by one, and then she
that is
barely
awesome.
escapes. And in the sequel,
awesome.
she's like in a hospital, high out of her mind on painkillers,
Oh god.
and he like breaks into the hospital and like picks off everyone one by one.
Oh my god.
But that movie was later retconned, and then like the 2018 softly reboot, Laurie is now a grown ass adult with a kid, because the actress is an older woman by now, but she has like PTSD in it, and then
Mm.
she mentions that she lost custody of her kid a while ago because she's like one of those doomsday type preppers, and like lives in the middle of the woods with like a massive shooting range and like a bunch of guns in the basement.
Yeah.
So basically, I wrote a fic explaining why she lost custody of the kids. And I made Halloween 2 canon again in this timeline to give her more trauma.
Yeah.
Because I felt like
Yeah.
she... And I don't know, it's kind of cathartic.
Nice.
baby girl.
Do we have it pulled up?
Yeah, I got it pulled up.
Oh, thank you.
Baby girl. Okay. Alright. Anyway, chapter 1 is a prologue. It says, it demands great spiritual resilience not to hate the hater whose foot is on your neck, and an even greater miracle of perception and charity not to teach your child to hate. James Baldwin, The Fire Next Time. Dear Karen, her daughter's name is Karen. I did not name her that. I know it's been a while since you last saw me, and I know there has been a lot in your life that I have not been a part of. I heard you're now in med school and studying to be a nurse. I'm proud of you. That takes a lot of effort. I know you might not want to talk to me or have anything to do with me, and I completely understand. I'm just writing to let you know that I still care, even if I've been distant. Apologies sound flimsy on paper, so I'd rather have a heart-to-heart conversation about the past in person, when and if you're ready. I think about you every day, and I wish you nothing but the best. I'm doing fine, by the way. I'm more worried about you. I hope you're doing well and staying safe. I don't leave the house much these days, but if you want to meet up, I will try my best to make that happen. You're always welcome to visit, though I imagine you'd feel more comfortable if I came to you. Just remember to stay safe, remember what I taught you, and please lock your doors at night. Love, Mom, your mother, Lori. She scratched out the last words and hurriedly crumpled the paper into a ball. None of it sounded right, none of it deserved to see the light of day. She walked over to the fireplace and chucked it in with the rest of the letters that had since turned to ash. The flames leapt at the paper, eager to destroy her regrets. Lori stared at the fire for a while, imagining a white mask with black voids for eyes, staring back at her as it melted into a puddle. Anyway, next chapter takes place in the past. She held up the pregnancy test with trembling hands. 2 red lines showed permanently in the light like bloody slashes. Her husband's face softened from a look of concern to pure joy. This is, wow, I'm gonna be a dad. He embraced her in a tight hug. Lori did not hug back. A pit was forming in her stomach, widening every second as the reality of the situation sank in. She was as stiff as a corpse when he pulled away. What's wrong, baby? She was quiet for a moment. Lori wasn't against the idea of pregnancy. She hadn't been taking birth control for a few months and wasn't too concerned about it. But when the test finally showed positive, it hit her like a semi-truck. I just don't know if I want to bring kids into this dangerous world. I mean, what if something bad happened to them? I wouldn't be able to live with myself. Jimmy put a hand on her shoulder. Hey, it's gonna be okay. We've survived a murderous madman before. We can do it again, he chuckled. But he's still alive. Locked up in a maximum security prison asylum, but still, I know the odds of him escaping again are low, but... Look, nothing bad is gonna happen with you as a mom, I'm sure of that. And if we have to face him again, we'll do it together, just like we did last time. You're a fighter, Lori. You're stronger than you think. It was true. Ever since they had met in the hospital on that fateful night and escaped the clutches of death through luck and sheer willpower, she and Jimmy had become inseparable. Their bond was formed through suffering, but also the need for normalcy after the horrors they had endured. He made her feel safe in a way no one else could, the one thing that loosely tethered her to reality. She looked up at him with a nervous smile. Well then, in that case, we should start thinking of names for the baby. Dr. Samuel Loomis, on the other hand, was not so thrilled about the news. He and Lori had become very close since the Myers incident on that fateful Halloween, with him even mentoring her in the field of psychology and writing her letters of recommendation for college and her current job. Though he was merely human, After surviving the hospital fire that had nearly killed their assailant, Lori saw him as near immortal. Lori, I want to congratulate you, but there's something I need to inform you about. His voice sounded more urgent and concerned over the phone than usual. The mother of Michael, Mrs. Myers, went on to divorce and remarry Mr. Strode shortly after her daughter's death. They later had you, but kept the information about your mother a secret to protect your identity. This would make Michael Myers your half-brother. Lori froze and nearly dropped the phone. Everything seemed to crawl to a stop. The static hummed as she tried to piece together the words that had just been spoken to her. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I just didn't want to upset you. I know you've been through a lot. The voice made her snap out of her frozen state. Is that why he came after me on Halloween? In the hospital? I don't think he knew. Your parents have tried very hard to keep your relationship to him a secret. It must have been a coincidence that he tried to kill you that night. And when he pursued you in the hospital, I'm sure he was just trying to finish the job. Catch the prey that had escaped his grasp. Sure, that might have been plausible, but it did little to assuage her fears. She groaned. Great. I have a psycho murderer for a half-brother who's gonna be my kid's uncle. What a fucking joke. Calm down, Lori. I'm sure this can be worked out. Her fear was quickly blossoming into anger at the sound of his voice. Loomis had been Michael's psychiatrist since he was a child. He knew how dangerous he was more than anyone else. Calm down. My half-brother is Michael Myers, and I could be giving birth to a copy of him, and you want me to calm down? Do you even hear yourself? Listen, Lori, I know this could be a serious threat to you and the town. And I know you're worried. I am too, but you have options, and you're not alone in all of this. I swore to protect Haddonfield with my life, if I had to, and I will do it again if need be. Lori felt the gravity of his words and knew every bit of it was sincere. He would let himself be slashed to pieces if it meant stopping the boogeyman and his ilk, but she hoped it would never come to that. All right, what are my options? I can pay for an abortion and anything else you need to terminate the pregnancy. It's the very least I can do. Lori felt a knot form in her stomach. She instinctively clutched her abdomen as if protecting the barely formed fetus. No, I can't imagine killing an innocent life. I'd feel no better than him. Took a deep breath. It's your decision. Either way, I will continue to support you however I can. You're a smart woman, Lori, and I trust you will do what's best for you and your family. Still shaken but feeling a bit better, she exhaled. Although she had experience with taking care of children in the past through babysitting, what she was about to take on felt much different. Raising a child of her own was like being in foreign waters, and Lori already felt like she was drowning. She wanted to be a normal parent, raise a normal kid, love whatever son or daughter she would give birth to, but she wasn't ready to fear them. I want to do this. I want to be a mom. But if the child turns out to be anything like Michael, I'll kill them myself. There was no hesitation in her voice. Loomis didn't push the topic any further. All right, and that's all I have so far. I'll post.
Oh, nature versus
Oh my
nurture. Shit.
gosh.
I'm
That's
going
Yeah.
so scary.
like I'm going to admit that actually did kind of make me feel like I was side glaring Lori a bit because like I'm pretty open about this. My biological dad actually murdered someone. Of course, my biological dad's
Oh.
dead now, but
Wait, really?
yes, and so my parents were also like this with the whole nature versus nurture crap. And so this kind of actually hit me on a personal note.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, my parents were like this, believing that if I get into dark stuff or whatever, then I'll turn out dark, and that I was more and that because of my biodad was also a Satanist.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Very into drugs. Not only did he murder someone, he cannibalized her corpse a bit, and his shit is on the news and out in public too. And he I'm not really going to go into too much detail on stream, but yeah, basically that.
Yeah, I'm
So,
really sorry about that.
Yeah.
So
uh,
basic.
yeah,
So I had a friend like knew someone whose biological dad was kind of a terrible person, and he's never spoken to him and never had any contact with him and never wants to, but like his mom still has like hang-ups with that and still kind of treats him like he could turn out to be his father, and so then he's kind of like had a complex of like hating his father and worried he's going to turn out like him. So I guess writing this is kind of cathartic in a way.
yeah, like,
Because, like, spoilers, the kid turns out to be normal.
it's like,
Mm.
I don't necessarily think I've been primed to really hate myself or anything. Mostly because I was very skeptical of my parents' reasonings in the first place and thought it was stupid. Although it was
Yeah,
more my,
he kind of, like, internalized. Because
yeah,
his
more
mom is kind of, like, not a good person, and I have doubts if she even loves him that much in the first place.
Funnily enough, it was also mostly my adoptive mother who was like that, anyways.
Yeah.
Uh,
I really hate the nature... I really hate the nature versus nurture thing when it comes to, like, having a kid of a terrible person and that kid, like, being raised in a good environment and not having any contact with the parent. Because,
it's like,
like, I think it's, like, mostly nature that makes you the way you are, but I like to imagine, like, Michael was just born to a normal family, but he just, like, had serial killer tendencies, and they just didn't see the warning signs. Like, I think it would be kind of scary if, like, you do everything you can for your kid, but they still turn out to be a serial killer. And also in the movies, he's kind of almost like a supernatural entity. Like he has like near supernatural inhuman strength. He's incredibly like immune to bullets. He gets shot like 7 times and he's fine. And also Loomis like goes on about like how he's like about like how evil he is
from what
and
I've,
like borderline inhuman. But
Mm.
I also think the movies may like indirectly what do you call it, like make mentally ill people sound really scary
Mm.
because like but because like people murder like their wife and kids all the time and you see it on news, but I guess it's a lot more scary than like when a guy with a mask that escaped from a psych ward is doing it. Anyway, that's my rant about Halloween.
Me.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But like
Anyway,
making mentally ill people look scary.
yeah. Also, Haddonfield is an incredibly like I guess like white middle class town where like nothing bad happens except for like a string of murders in the 70s. Like if if that's the worst crime you've had in all those years, that's really good statistics.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm.
Nature, obviously, because of being an adopted child and because of the whole shit with the whole, oh, you're more susceptible to dark forces and dark tendencies shit that I got partly fed and didn't believe. Obviously, that
Yes.
was more of my topic of interest in like psychology and stuff when I was doing psychology. And one of the things
Interesting.
that I and a lot of psychologists have learned is that it is not nature versus nurture, it is nature and nurture. Like one feeds into
Yeah.
the other.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think some things can be definitely up to genetics.
Yeah, like
Like you could be more at risk of developing addictions to
oh
substances.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And eating disorders as well. It runs in the
Yeah.
family.
Mm-hmm. That.
I definitely have some similarities with my biological family, although I don't really talk to them that much anymore because, like, I don't know what my half brother's number is, and I don't know how to get in contact with him anyways. My biological father's dead, my biological mother doesn't want to talk to me, and I'm I've kind of grown distant with my full biological brother because he's kind of become a conservative, so.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
And of course, my adoptive family is like, adoptive mom is out of the picture. Adoptive brother took her side and things, and I haven't spoken to him as
So
a result.
it's
And
just you and your dad.
me, my dad, and my adoptive sister, yeah. Although
Oh,
I feel kind of disconnected from them too, for different reasons. So,
I'm sorry about that.
family is
Yeah.
complicated
Yeah. Your
Mm-hmm.
dad sounds pretty alright though.
for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah. No one's perfect.
It can be frustrating, but it's like, he's right leaning, but he's not the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same with my parents. It can be very frustrating having conversations with them.
I do not have political conversations with my dad, and my dad usually tends to avoid politics, and so do I. And I think it's like
That's good.
I don't know. It's like on one hand, I feel like maybe I can get through to him, but at the same time, I honestly just want out of this house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, I feel the same.
I don't want to sound like clingy or anything, I guess, but it's like a lot of y'all feel more like family than my family.
Oh,
Oh, I wish I was there.
I'm
I could give
happy.
you a hug.
It's really sweet. Yeah, I wish I could give you a hug too.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Stag. I'm happy that we get to be, there, here for you.
Glad to be here for y'all as well, even though I'm not that great at it, because I don't know why, but asking how are you and stuff just randomly, I'm weirdly shy about it, even though I should.
It's
Yeah, I
alright.
get it. Like
Don't hold it against you.
hitting people up in the DMs makes me nervous too.
I would never do. I'll just
No, like
take.
not flirting, just like regular conversations, like
Yeah,
friendship
yeah.
conversations.
Oh yeah. I normally try to focus it around a fandom because that's fun.
Yeah.
yeah. It's always
Yeah,
That
like,
fun
said,
bringing
oh,
up.
what's your favorite series? That's always my go-to.
Yeah, in fact, it's how we all like got close to each other because we all
Oh
like
yeah.
Soulsborne.
yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
So the moral of the story is everyone write fanfic and everyone interact with the
It will all
fandom, and
turn out well.
you'll find friends
Oh,
like
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll get to move out, but it does feel like a lot of plans got thrown down the drain because of a certain
Ugh.
wrench.
Yeah. Oh my
A
god.
certain wrench, you say? And not a healthy one. No, no,
Hey,
no.
if
And
it
it's like,
makes you feel any better, it's only a matter of time.
yeah,
Only a
it's
matter
like
of time.
I do feel
Mhm.
like that time is probably going to be shorter than 4 years.
Oh, 100%. That's what I'm
Mhm.
insinuating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I
Which
really
one
don't
out?
want to. I don't want to bring this in a dour mood because of the shit, but like, I've also been like wanting to try to move to another country and start there, but I also want to stay and fight. But it's like there are ways to fight from another country, I guess.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it's like I don't
Yeah.
want to leave. I guess it's
Mm.
just I don't want to leave a bunch of friends behind, even though you're all in different states, anyways.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where would you want to go?
Isn't that the question?
I keep thinking Scotland for me, but I need to go over there and visit a friend first.
Mm.
Oh.
It's like, because I keep thinking Germany. And like Germany is
Mm.
also having some, I think, a bit of
Yeah.
political issues. I don't know the
Oh.
details of it right now because I've kind of been focused on the US. But I've
Yeah,
also been wanting,
Muskie's trying to get his grubby fingers on them too.
I
Stupid.
guess I've also been thinking about Finland, but I don't know Finnish.
Ooh. The Scandinavian countries are really
Ooh.
nice from everything I've seen about them online.
Yeah, although I have
Yeah.
heard that Finns are a bit wary of outsiders, so
Hmm. Sweden's pretty kind. Denmark's fun. Norway's like the more countryside. I think they have moose there.
I want to go to Norway.
Yeah.
Although
wanna
I
go to
bet it's pretty
Sweden.
cold there most of the time.
Denmark. I want to go to Denmark
yeah.
really bad.
Maybe both you and I can visit this park one day.
Exactly. Let's go on a European tour.
Yeah, we
That'd
could
be
see
so much
little.
fun. Oh man. We could see Little, and if we go to the UK, we can see Panda. Oh my gosh.
Hey.
That would be so much fun.
I think the
Okay.
longest I've traveled was like the 10-hour flight that it went to London. And I was just like, God damn, this is so long.
What? It's a lot.
Oh yeah.
I could watch half
awesome.
of a. That's the length of
Yeah.
half of a Lord of the Rings movie.
There we go.
What's this? Gutenberg Files.
It's Dracula.
Oh yeah.
We're on chapter 4.
Dracula.
Dracula.
Chapter 4.
Oh, that's not where I wanted. Okay, hold on. 1 second.
Chapter IV. Alright, I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
Alright, be honest, guys. Is my voice goofy?
No.
No. No.
Oh,
It's
okay.
great.
Thanks.
Oh, hiccups.
Oh, 4 is pretty.
Fantastic.
Well, I said this last time, but I was just like, this chapter is pretty short, but then like ended up being long as hell.
Yeah.
It's because it's very verbose.
But yeah, compared to the other ones, chapter 4 is kind of short.
That's what
Yep.
you think.
And then you force me to read it, and I'll be like, okay, this wasn't short.
We hear the
am-
duck going, wah, 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 tap out, tap out.
I
I
read
am
one paragraph. Oh, go
I
ahead.
am recovering from spicy noodles, so if
Mm.
anything, I'd have to probably read the transfer, I guess. I'd have to be the transfer.
The baton pass, a la Persona 5.
Yeah. I didn't mean to cast a cloud over this.
No, it's
No,
good.
it's
Like, talking about anything, that's what we're here for.
Dark Souls paranoid. Sorry. I'm also trying to do a storyboard right now, and I'm like, yeah! Tooth Fairy with the shield. I'm so tempted to add the Dark Souls paranoid. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do it.
Do
For
it.
fun.
Do
Do
it.
it.
Oh man. Where is it? There you are. There we go.
Oh my god.
Okay, maybe I am a little goofy. Maybe I should just embrace it.
You're a
Be
goofy
able to-
person, but
That is true.
We love you
you
for
take reading very seriously.
I
Goofy
do.
booster.
There we go. Okay.
it. Maybe I could move to Germany and get my name changed for free since that's the thing they do now. Or
Nice.
can hopefully
Oh.
keep doing. Because, like, yes, did I get my name legally changed already? Yes, do I want to do it again, apparently, despite my initials being PDF now? Somewhat. My initials are literally PDF because of the names I chose for myself.
Side.pdf.
Nice.
Hello, PDF.
Mm.
Okay, let me see.
But it's also like, I really love the name Emilian.
Nice. Stag.pdf. I would open it. Okay. Where? Oh, there we go.
Because it's like,
Oh.
I think my biggest problem right now with my legal name is that no one, surprisingly, no one knows how to pronounce it. Like, it's Sai. It's just Sai. How is this so hard for people? It's like I get not knowing how to spell it, but it's just the first 3 letters of Psyche.
People are very
The pure
We are
canon Dead
dead
by
serious.
Daylight. Yes, it is canon in Dead by Daylight that Michael Myers Into the Fog teams up with Kaneki to kill Nicolas Cage.
Wait, is Nicolas Cage one of the characters in there?
Yeah, not a character Nicolas Cage, but the actor Nicolas Cage. You play as him in Dead by Daylight.
You can play as him?
Yeah. Oh, fuck me. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, here, let me send you his wiki. Nicolas Cage, the Dead by Daylight character.
No. Tell me it isn't so.
No, it's it's real.
Oh, that's what he looks like.
That's
That's
hilarious.
not what he looks like. He looks better than he does in real life. Like I was watching National Treasure 1 and 2 the other night and he looks so fucking goofy every time he's on screen.
Good. That's why I
Even
like
when
him,
he's just
man.
yeah, even when he's just doing normal talking. It sounds so funny when he's talking about trying to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Oh my
I don't know, it just tickles me whenever he says like we
Oh,
need to
God.
steal the Declaration of Independence with like complete seriousness.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Sorry, I should have started with that, Lucia.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay, who wants to drink some blood? As in, read Dracula.
I just realized we just
Ooh,
said
rude.
legal. I just fucking realized we just said my full legal name on stream. Why did I forget we were streaming?
You could cut that
God,
out.
Yeah, I won't save the VOD for this, or I'll cut it out first and then make it public. So I will not make it public before that.
Eh.
Like
Thank you.
like you can keep where I said my initials are PDF because that doesn't really say anything. But
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
it's somewhere around where are we at? 1 hour 21 minutes. Okay, I'll keep a note for that.
Good.
thank you.
You're the best looks.
Yeah, I don't.
All right.
That's Let's try to avoid another situation where we have to delete the video.
Yeah,
Wait, you're gonna delete the entire VOD?
No,
No.
I'm just gonna edit the part where I give my credit card information.
Okay.
11112, and then there's a 111.
The wacky numbers on the back are 9.
420.
Oh, fun fact, my sister, just as we brought up Dracula, she opened the game I told you about where you do the typing game where you type out Dracula. You type the
Oh yeah.
and it gets your words
Wait.
per minute and stuff.
I found that game on itch and it looks really fun.
Here, let me link it again just for context here.
Yeah. Or wait, is this the same one or is this a different one?
If it's a typing game, it's the same one.
I think it's actually a different one.
Yeah, that's the one she's playing right now. It's just like, wow, we're both doing Dracula.
Oh my goodness. As I choke.
Oh,
I
that's funny.
wonder. Shit. Sorry.
Yay.
Tripped. Well, I just blanked out.
It's okay. We're here for you.
Take your time.
So, because I said something that's like, wait, shit, and then blanked. I wonder if we can get Troy to join one of these, and then we can try to read the transcript together.
Oh, that would be
Yeah,
fun.
you know what? Let me just add him right now.
He doesn't have the reader's role.
I could edit out all my likes and my gimme and my or whatever else I say so frequently. Could be like, I could take that like out. You ever heard it? It's so hard not to say like.
Like,
Like,
yeah,
what
when
else do you say?
when I read those transcripts, I'm all like, oh, I say a lot. It's like every sentence I say
Is it good? Yes, you do.
Okay. So I keep posting 10 bucks a day.
No, we love it.
There we go. I put a warning with this one.
Yeah.
Me while I add this to the soundboard.
What's this?
The Perry noise. Perry.
Why'd you have to add a
Platypus.
warning for that?
Oh. Because
We have
So
one
people know what it was.
exactly one slot still available. Where did this go?
Okay, now I gotta do the art because it looks weird. Okay. Oh, but who wanted to start us off with Dracula? No takers? No takers? Looks like it's me.
Hold on.
It's you.
Hey,
What?
guess
Okay. Excellent. That is the best. Oh my
I'm gonna go
gosh.
get me some more coffee and then I will see.
It's like the Vine
Okay, I'll
movie.
stop.
It does sound like the
The
Vine
Vine
boom.
boom, yeah. Oh my god, we should add that in here too.
Oh my goodness.
We are out of slots for the soundboard.
Somebody's gotta boost us.
Yeah.
Somebody's gotta boost.
I'll be right back.
Okay. And
Work ahead.
if you start, then whenever you get you want a break, I can go after you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my man. If it be that I had not dreamed them, I could leave like that. That's my Tigger impression when I don't have the full range of my voice.
I'll chat.
Woohoo!
Jerky.
Okay, one more time.
Turkey.
It is our very own Vine Boom.
Me when I make a perfect comeback. Nice. It's so satisfying. Okay.
When I
I'll
say
stop.
no, you're a good writer.
When I say no, you.
Me when I. Oh, I don't have the soundboard out.
Oh no! Me when
Me
Owl
when I-
doesn't have her soundboard out.
No! There we go.
Perfectly timed. I'm sorry. I told you, too satisfying. Oh my god.
I'm crying.
Yeah, a little bit. A little
All this laughing is not gonna. What is that?
It's
What?
Day by Daylight.
Oh my
One of
God.
the characters gotten. That's one of the Survivor characters got messed up.
Oh god. Oh, that's funny. The lengthened arms. It's so nice.
Not the.
That's what Scott looks like when he plays it.
Oh my gosh. He
One of the
sounds so
characters.
angry.
What the dog?
Scott?
Some of it did.
Me when the
Played it
dog.
together.
Big Scott sounds
Me
angry.
when the dog.
Oh god.
Mother
Wait.
cat!
Wait, you think Scott sounds angry
No, I didn't say that.
when he's playing? Yeah, you did. When you're
No, I
playing Dead by Daylight?
I said he sounded goofy.
Yeah. He's not angry, he's just serious.
Oh!
Dead by Daylight is a very serious game. It's not supposed to be fun.
It's not supposed to be fun.
It's supposed
Damn.
to be about suffering
Not that kind of game.
and death and blood and stuff. It's
Oh,
very
wait.
serious.
But what about like Doom? Doom's got death and blood and stuff.
He doesn't play Doom.
He doesn't play Doom. Mm. What about Dark Souls? It's got death and blood and stuff.
He doesn't play Dark Souls. He
But
plays Elden Ring.
But it still goes like.
But I'll force him to play Dark Souls one day, and he'll hate it, but he'll play it. But he'll keep playing it anyways.
I hope there's an Elden Ring mod or something, so like when you get hit, you go like.
Aww.
These audience were more spaced.
The only other thing I like more than that is the when Bloodborne, when you like stick your fist in the enemy's ass and stuff.
Yeah. Oh my god, the
The
pigs.
pigs.
Oh, the pigs. Okay.
Oh
I'll be
wait,
ready
could I
for-
have the link, please?
Yes. And you just have to click. There's like a link inside.
A link inside.
That'll send you
darling.
to. It'll send you to chapter 4.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my god. it just loaded for me now, I see.
A horse.
That's so gross.
So, if anyone else doesn't want to read, I will.
Ooh, please begin.
Okay. Why do my joints hurt? I don't know. Anyways.
Don't you be like that?
I awoke in my own bed. If it be that if it be that I had not dreamt, the Count must have carried me here. I tried to satisfy myself on the subject, but could not arrive at any unquestionable result. To be Corey,
Sorry,
to
I'm
be,
mute.
to be sure, there were certain small evidences, such that my clothes were folded and laid by in a manner which was not my habit. And my watch was still unwound, and I am rigorously accom- accustomed to winding the last thing before going to bed, and many such details. But these things are no proof, for they may have been evidence that my mind was not as usual, and from some cause or another I had certainly been much upset. I must watch for proof. Of one thing I am glad, if it was that the Count carried me here and undressed me. Right? He must he must had he must he must have had he must have been hurried in his task, for my pockets are intact. I I am sure this diary must have been a mystery to him which he would not have brooked. He would have taken or destroyed it. As I look round this room, although it has been to me so full of fear, it is now a sort of sanctuary, for nothing can be more dreadful than those awful women who are waiting to suck my blood. Sorry, trying not to lose
Do you need me to tap in? I'll tap in. That was
I can do this. I can do this.
You're right, Owl. Hey, Owl, you want to read that?
I got it. I got it. I got it.
Okay. Okay.
I can try.
Breathe
Oh,
deep
this
breath,
is
slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, out.
please.
What's wrong with women? No.
Not the women.
And they have sentient boobs too. That's the thing here.
I forgot about that.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Okay. I'm just like,
I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet.
okay. Okay. I can do this, I swear. Give me a second. May 18th of May. I have been down to look at the room again in daylight, for I must know the truth. When I got to the doorway at the top of the stairs, I found it closed. It had been so forcibly driven against the jamb that part of the woodwork was splintered. I could see that the bolt of the lock had not been shot, but the door is fashioned from the inside. I fear it was no dream, and must act on the sunrise. Surmise. That says surmise, not sunrise. I was about to say, why does that RM looks okay? I can read. Actually, I am starting to question if I have dyslexia, but doesn't matter. 19th of May. I am surely in the toils. Last night the Count asked me in the suavest tones to write 3 letters. One saying my work here was nearly done, and that I should start for home within a few days. Another was that I was starting on the next morning from the time of the letter, and a third that I had left the castle and arrived in Bistritz. I would fain have rebelled, but felt that in the present state of things it would be madness to quarrel openly with the Count whilst I was so absolutely in his power. To refuse would be to excite his I shouldn't read that like that. Sorry. To refuse would be to excite his suspicion, to arouse his anger. He knows that I know too much, and that I must not live, lest I be dangerous to him. My only chance is to prolong my opportunities. Something may occur which will give me a chance to escape. I saw in his eyes of that something of that gathered wrath which was manifest when he hurled that fair woman from him. He explained to me that posts were few and uncertain, and that my writing now would ensure the ease of mind to my friends, and he assured me with so much impressiveness that he would countermand the latter letters, which would be held over at Bistritz until due time, in case chance would admit of my prolonging my stay. That opposed to him would have been to create new suspicion. I therefore pretended to fall in with his views and asked him what dates I should put on the letters. He calculated a minute and then said, "The first should be June 12th, the second June 19th, and the third June 29th. I know now the span of my life. God help me." 28th of May. There is a chance of escape, or at any rate of being able to send word home. A band of Sagani have come to the castle and are encamped in the courtyard. The Sagani are gypsies, which I have notes of them in my book. They are particular. They are peculiar to this part of the world, allied to ordinary, though allied to the ordinary gypsies all over the world. There are thousands of them in Hungary and Transylvania, who are almost outside all law. They attach themselves as a rule to some great noble or boyard, and call themselves by his name. They are fearless and without religion, save superstition, and they talk only of their varieties of the Romani tongue. I shall write some letters home, and shall try to get them to have them posted. I have already spoken them through my window to begin acquaintanceships. They took their hats off and made obeisance in many signs, which, however, I could not understand any more than I could their spoken language. I have written the letters. Mina's is in shorthand, and I simply ask Mr. Hawkins to communicate with her. To her I have explained my situation, but without the horrors of which I may only surmise. It would shock and frighten her to death if I were to expose my heart to her. Should the letters not carry, then the Count shall not yet know my secret or the extent of my knowledge. I have given the letters. I threw them through the bars of my window with a gold piece, and made what signs I could to have them posted. The man who took them pressed them to his heart and bowed, then put them in his cap. I could do no more. I stole back to the study and began to read. As the Count did not come in, I have written here. The Count has come. He sat down beside me and said in his smoothest voice as he opened 2 letters, "The Saganti have given me these, of which though I know not whence they came, I shall, of course, take care. See, you must have looked at it. One is from you, and to my friend Peter Hawkins. The other," here he caught sight of the strange symbols as he opened the envelope, and the a dark look came into his face. His eyes blazed wickedly. "The other is a vile thing, an outrage upon friendship and hospitality. It is not signed well, so it cannot matter to us." And he calmly held the letter and envelope in the flame of the lamp until they were consumed. Then he went on. "The letter to Hawkins that I shall of course send on, since it is yours. Your letters are sacred to me. Your pardon, my friend, that unknowingly I did break the seal. Will you not cover it again?" He held out the letter to me, and with a courteous bow handed me a clean envelope. I could only redirect it and hand it to him in silence. When he went out of the room, I could hear the key turn softly. A minute later, I went over and tried it. The door was locked. When, an hour or 2 after, the Count came quietly into the room, his coming wakened me, for I had gone to sleep on the sofa. He was very courteous and very cheery in his manner, seeing that I had been sleeping. He said, "So, my friend, are you tired? Get to bed. There, there is the surest rest. I may not have the pleasure to talk tonight, since there are many labors for me, but you will sleep, I pray." I passed to my room and went to bed, and, strange to say, slept without dreaming. Despair had its own calms. 31st of May. This morning when I woke, I thought I would provide myself with some paper and envelopes from my bag and keep them in my pocket, so that I may write in case I could get an opportunity. But again a surprise, again a shock. Every scrap of paper was gone, and with it all my notes, my memoranda relating to railways and travel, my letter of credit, in fact, all that might be useful to me once I were outside the castle. I sat and pondered a while, then some thought occurred to me. I made my search of my portmanteau and in the wardrobe where I had placed my clothes. And the suit which I had traveled was gone, and also my overcoat and rug. I could find no trace of them anywhere. This looked like some new scheme of villainy. The 17th of June. This morning, as I was sitting on the edge of my bed, ogling my brain, I heard without a cracking of whips and pounding and scraping of horses' feet upon the rocky path beyond the courtyard. With joy I hurried to the window and saw drive into the courtyard 2 great later lighter wagons, each drawn by 8 sturdy horses, and at the head of each pair a Slovak, with his white hat, great nailed studded belt, dirty sheepskin, and high boots. They had also their long staves in hand. I ran to the door, intending to descend and try and join them through the main hall, as I thought that way might be open for them. Again a shock, my door was fastened on the outside. Then I ran to the window and cried to them. They looked up at me stupidly and pointed. But just then the hetman of the Singing came out and, seeing them, pointed to my window and said something, at which they laughed. Henceforth no effort of mine, no piteous cry or agonized entreaty would make them even look at me. They resolutely turned away. Their the lighter wagons contained great square boxes with handles of thick rope. These were evidently empty by the ease with which the Slovaks handled them, and by their resonance they were roughly moved. When they were all unloaded and packed in a great heap in one corner of the yard, the Slovaks were given some money by the Singhi, and spitting on it for luck, lazily went each to his horse's head. Shortly afterward, I heard the cracking of their whips die away in the distance. June 24th.
Do you want to do a swap?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Hopefully there's not too much background noise. 24th June before morning. Last night the Count left me early and locked himself into his own room. As soon as I dared, I ran up the winding stair and looked out the window which opened south. I thought I would watch for the Count, for there is something going on. The Sagani are quartered somewhere in the castle and are doing work of some kind. I know it, for now and then I hear a faraway muffled sound as of mattock and spade, and whatever it is. It must be the end of some ruthless villainy. I had been at the window somewhat less than half an hour when I saw something out of the Count's window. I drew back and watched carefully, and saw the whole man emerge. It was a new shock to me to find that he had on the suit of clothes which I had worn whilst travelling here, and slung over his shoulder the terrible bag which I had seen the women take away. There could be no doubt as to his quest, and in my garb too. This, then, is his new scheme of evil, that he will allow others to see me as they think, so that he may both leave evidence that I have been seen in the towns or villages posting my own letters, and that any wickedness which he may do shall by the local people be attributed to me. It makes me rage to think that this can go on, and whilst I am shut up here, a veritable prisoner, but without that protection of the law which is even a criminal's right and consolation. I thought I would watch for the Count's return, and for a long time sat doggedly at that window. Then I began to notice that there were some quaint little specks floating in the rays of the moonlight. They were like the tiniest grains of dust, and they whirled round and gathered in clusters in a nebulous sort of way. I watched them with a sense of soothing, and a sort of calm stole over me. I leaned back in the embrasure in a more comfortable position, so that I could enjoy more fully the aerial gambolling. Something made me start up, a low, piteous howling of dogs somewhere far below in the valley, which was hidden from my sight. Louder it seemed to ring in my ears, and the floating motes of dust to take new shapes to the sound as they danced in the moonlight. I felt myself struggling to awake to some call of my instincts. Nay, my very soul was struggling, and my half-remembered sensibilities were shivering to answer the call. I was becoming hypnotized. Quicker and quicker danced the dust. The moonbeams seemed to quiver as they went by me into the mass of gloom beyond. More and more they gathered till they seemed to take dim phantom shapes. And then I started, broad awake and in full possession of my senses, and ran screaming from the place. The phantom shapes, which were becoming gradually materialized from the moonbeams, were those of the three ghostly women to whom I was doomed. I fled, and felt somewhat safer in my own room, where there was no moonlight and where the lamp was burning brightly. When a couple of hours had passed, I heard something stirring in the Count's room, something like a sharp wail quickly suppressed, and then there was silence, deep, awful silence, which chilled me. With a beating heart I tried the door, but I was locked in my prison, and could do nothing. I sat down and simply cried. As I sat, I heard a sound in the courtyard without, the agonized cry of a woman. I rushed to the window, and throwing it up, peered out between the bars. There, indeed, was a woman with disheveled hair holding her hands over her heart as one distressed with running. She was leaning against a corner of the gateway. When she saw my face at the window, she threw herself forward and shouted in a voice laden with menace, "Monster, give me my child!" She threw herself on her knees and, raising up her hands, cried the same words and tones which wrung my heart. Then she tore her hair and beat her breast, and abandoned herself to all the violences of extravagant emotion. Finally she threw herself forward, and, though I could not see her, I could hear the beating of her naked hands against the door. Somewhere high overhead, probably on the tower, I heard the voice of the Count calling in his harsh metallic whisper. His calls seemed to be answered from far and wide by the howling of wolves. Before many minutes had passed, a pack of them poured, like a pent-up dam when liberated, through the wide entrance into the courtyard. There was no cry from the woman, and the howling of the wolves was but short. Before long they streamed away, singly, licking their lips. I could not pity her, for I knew now what had become of her child, and she was better dead. What shall I do? What can I do? How can I escape from this dreadful thing of night and gloom and fear? 25th June, morning. No man knows till he has suffered from the night how sweet and how dear to his heart and eye the morning can be. When the sun grew so high this morning that it struck the top of the great gateway opposite my window, the high spot which it touched seemed to me as if the dove from the ark had lighted there. My fear fell from me as if it had been a vaporous garment which dissolved in the warmth. I must take action of some sort whilst the courage of the day is upon me. Last night one of my post-dated letters went to post, and the first of that fatal series which is to blot out the very traces of my existence from the earth. Let me not think of it. Action! It has always been at night-time that I have been molested or threatened, or in some way in danger or in fear. I have not yet seen the Count in the daylight. Can it be that he sleeps when others wake, that he may be awake whilst they sleep? If only I could get into his room! But there is no possible way. The door is always locked, no way for me. Yes, there is a way, if one dares to take it. Where his body has gone, why may not another body go? I have seen him myself crawl from his window. Why should I not imitate him, and go in by his window? The chances are desperate, but my need is more desperate still. I shall risk it. And the worst it can only be death. And a man's death is not a calf's, and the dreaded hereafter may still be open to me. God help me in my task. Goodbye, Mina, if I fail. Goodbye, my faithful friend and second father. Goodbye, all, and last of all, Mina. Same day, later. I have made the effort, and, God helping me, have come safely back to this room. I must put down every detail in order. I went whilst my courage was fresh, straight to the window on the south side, and once got outside on the narrow ledge of stone which runs around the building on this side. The stones are big and roughly cut, and the mortar has by process of time been washed away between them. I took off my boots and ventured out on the desperate way. I looked down once, so as to make sure that a sudden glimpse of the awful depth would not overcome me, but after that kept my eyes away from it. I knew pretty well the direction and distance of the Count's window, and made for it as well as I could, having regard to the opportunities available. I did not feel dizzy. I suppose I was too excited, and the time seemed ridiculously short till I found myself standing on the window-sill and trying to raise up the sash. I was filled with agitation, however, when I bent down and slid feet foremost in through the window. Then I looked round for the Count, but, with surprise and gladness, made a discovery. The room was empty. It was barely furnished with odd things, which seemed to have never been used. The furniture was something the same style as that in the south rooms, and was covered with dust. I looked for the key, but it was not in the lock, and I could not find it anywhere. The only thing I found was a great heap of gold in one corner. Gold of all kinds, Roman and British and Austrian and Hungarian and Greek and Turkish money, covered with a film of dust as though it had long lain in the ground. None of it that I had noticed was less than 300 years old. There were also chains and ornaments, some jeweled, but all of them seemed old and stained. At one corner of the room was a heavy door. I tried it, for since I could not find the key of the room or the key of this outer door, which was the main object of my search, I must make further examination, or all my efforts would be in vain. It was open, and led through a stone passage to a circular stairway, which went steeply down. I descended, minding carefully where I went, for the stairs were dark, being only lit by loopholes in the heavy masonry. At the bottom there was a dark, tunnel-like passage, through which came a deathly, sickly odor, the odor of old earth and newly turned. Old earth newly turned. As I went through the passage, the smell grew closer and heavier. At last I pulled open a heavy door which stood ajar, and found myself in an old, ruined chapel, which had evidently been used as a graveyard. The roof was broken, and in 2 places were steps leading to vaults, but the ground had recently been dug over, and the earth placed in great wooden boxes, manifestly those which had been brought by the Slavics. There was nobody about, and I made my search for any further outlet, but there was none. Then I went over every inch of the ground so as not to lose a chance. I went down even into the vaults where the dim light struggled, although to do so was a dread to my very soul. In 2 of these I went, but saw nothing except fragments of old coffins and piles of dust. In the 3rd, however, I made a discovery. There, in one of the great boxes, of which there were 50 in all, on a pile of newly dug earth, lay the Count. He was either dead or asleep, I could not say which, for the eyes were open and stony, but without the glassiness of death, and the cheeks had the warmth of life throughout all their pallor. The lips were as red as ever, but there was no sign of movement, no pulse, no breath, no beating of the heart. I bent over him, and tried to find any sign of life, but in vain. He could not have lain there long, for the earthy smell would have passed away in a few hours. But the side of the box was its cover, pierced with holes here and there. I thought he might have the keys on him, but when I went to search I saw the dead eyes, and in them, dead though they were, such a look of hate, though unconscious of me or my presence, that I fled from the place, and leaving the Count's room by the window, crawled up again the castle wall. Regaining my room, I threw myself panting upon the bed and tried to think. 29th June. Today is the date of my last letter, and the Count has taken steps to prove that it was genuine, for again I saw him leave the castle by the same window, and in my clothes. As he went down the wall, lizard fashion, I wished I had a gun, or some lethal weapon that I might destroy him, but I fear that no weapon wrought alone by man's hand would have any effect on him. I dared not wait to see him return, for I feared to see those weird sisters. I came back to the library, and read there till I fell asleep. I was awakened by the Count, who looked at me grimly as a man can look, as he said, "Tomorrow, my friend, we must part. You return to your beautiful England, I to some work which may have to have such an end that we may never meet. Your letter home has been dispatched. Tomorrow I shall not be here, but all shall be ready for your journey. In the morning come to Sizgani, who have some laborers of their own here, and also come some Slavics. When they have gone, my carriage shall come for you, and shall bear you to the Borgo Pass to meet the diligence from Bukovina to Bistritz. But I am in hopes that I shall see more of you at Castle Dracula." I suspected him, and determined to test his sincerity. Sincerity! It seems like a profanation of the word to write it in connection with such a monster, so asked him point blank, "Why may I not go tonight?" "Because, dear sir, my coachman and horses are away on a mission." "But I would walk with pleasure. I want to get away at once." He smiled, such a soft, smooth, diabolical smile that I knew that there was some trick behind his smoothness. He said, "And your baggage?" I do not care about it. I can send for it some other time." The Count stood up and said, with a sweet courtesy which made me rub my eyes, it seemed so real, "You English have a saying which is close to my heart, for its spirits is that which rules our boyars. Welcome the coming, speed the parting guest. Come with me, my dear young friend. Not an hour shall you wait in my house against your will, though sad I am at your going, that you so suddenly desire it. Come!" With a stately gravity, he with the lamp preceded me down the stairs and along the hall. Suddenly he stopped. Hark! Close at hand came the howling of many wolves. It was almost as if the sound sprang up at the rising of his hand, just as the music of a great orchestra seems to leap under the baton of the conductor. After a pause of a moment, he proceeded in his stately way to the door, drew back the ponderous bolts, unhooked the heavy chains, and began to draw it open. To my intense astonishment I saw that it was unlocked. Suspiciously, I looked all around, but could see no key of any kind. As the door began to open, the howling of the wolves without grew louder and angrier. Their red jaws with clamping teeth and their blunt clawed feet as they leapt came in through the opening door. I knew then that to struggle at the moment against the Count was useless. With such allies as these at his command, I could do nothing. But still the door continued to slowly open, and only the Count's body stood in the gap. Suddenly it struck me that this might be the moment and means of my doom. I was to be given to the wolves, and at my own instigation. There was a diabolical wickedness in this idea, great enough for the Count, and as a last chance I cried out, "Shut the door! I shall wait till morning," and covered my face with my hands to hide my tears of bitter disappointment. With one sweep of his powerful arm, the Count threw the door shut, and the great bolts clanged and echoed throughout the hall as they shot back into their places. In silence we returned to the library, and after a moment or two I went to my own room. The last I saw of Count Dracula was his kissing his hand to me, with a red light of triumph in his eyes, and with a smile that Judas in hell might be proud of. When I was in my room and about to lie down, I thought I heard a whispering at my door. I went to it softly and listened. Unless my ears deceive me, I heard the voice of the Count. "Back, back, to your own place. Your time is not yet come. Wait, have patience. Tonight is mine. Tomorrow night is yours." There was a low, sweet ripple of laughter, and in a rage I threw open the door and saw without the 3 terrible women licking their lips. As I approached, they all joined in a horrible laugh and ran away. I came back to my room and threw myself on my knees. Is this then so near the end? Tomorrow, tomorrow, Lord, help me, and those to whom I am dear. 30th June, morning. These may be the last words I ever write in this diary. I slept till just before the dawn, and when I woke threw myself on my knees, for I determined that if death came he should find me ready. At last I felt that subtle change in the air, and knew that the morning had come. Then came the welcome cock-crow, and I felt that I was safe. With a glad heart I opened my door and ran down the hall. I had seen that the door was unlocked, and now escape was before me. With hands that trembled with eagerness, I unhooked the chains and drew back the massive bolts. But the door would not move. Despair seized me. I pulled and pulled at the door, and shook it till, massive as it was, it rattled in its casement. I could see the bolt shot. It had been locked after I left the Count. Then a wild desire took me to obtain that key at any risk, and I determined then and there to scale that wall again and gain the Count's room. He might kill me, but death now seemed the happier choice of evils. Without a pause I rushed up to the east window and scrambled down the wall, as before, into the Count's room. It was empty, but that was as I expected. I could not see a key anywhere, but the heap of gold remained. I went through the door in the corner, and down the winding stair, and along the dark passage to the old chapel. I knew... my cat's on my keyboard.
Meow.
You seriously kicked me all the way down to the bottom?
It's the last little part, too. It's the last
Do you
little
remember
part.
what I said?
No.
Oh, wait, no, I can just look at the stream. The great box was in the same place. Okay. I have to Control F this, because she kicked me down all the way to the bottom.
What a Chad.
Okay.
Chad Captain.
My bad, guys. She literally just jumped on my keyboard and left. Like, what a little jerk. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay.
But the heap of gold remained. I went through the door in the corner and down the winding stair and along the dark passage to the old chapel. I knew now well enough where to find the monster I sought. The great box was in the same place, close against the wall, but the lid was laid on it, not fastened down, but with the nails ready in their places to be hammered home. I knew I must reach the body for the key, so I raised the lid and laid it back against the wall, and then I saw something which filled my very soul with horror. There lay the Count, but looking as if his youth had been half renewed, for the white hair and mustache were changed to dark iron gray, the cheeks were fuller, and the white skin seemed ruby red underneath. The mouth was redder than ever, for on the lips were gouts of fresh blood, which trickled from the corners of his mouth and ran over the chin and neck. Even the deep, burning eyes seemed set amongst swollen flesh, for the lids and pouches underneath were bloated. It seemed as if the whole awful creature were simply gorged with blood. He lay like a filthy leech, exhausted with his repletion. I shuddered as I bent over to touch him, and every sense in me revolted at the contact, but I had to search or I was lost. The coming night might see my own body a banquet in a similar way to those horrid three. I felt all over the body, but no sign could I find of the key. Then I stopped and looked at the Count. There was a mocking smile on the bloated face, which seemed to drive me mad. This was the being I was helping to transfer to London, where, perhaps, for centuries to come, he might, amongst its seeming millions, satiate his lust for blood, and create a new and ever-widening circle of semi-demons to batten on the helpless. The very thought drove me mad. A terrible desire came upon me to rid the world of such a monster. There was no lethal weapon at hand, but I seized a shovel which the workmen had been using to fill the cases, and, lifting it high, struck, with the edge downward, at the hateful face. But as I did so, the head turned, and the eyes fell full upon me, with all their blaze of basilisk horror. The sight seemed to paralyze me, and the shovel turned in my hand and glanced from the face, merely making a deep gash above the forehead. The shovel fell from my hand across the box, and as I pulled it away, the flange of the blade caught the edge of the lid, which fell over again, and hid the horrid thing from my sight. The last glimpse I had was of the bloated face, blood-stained, and fixed with a grin of malice, which would have held its own in the nethermost hell. I thought and thought what should be my next move, but my brain seemed on fire, and I was waiting with a despairing feeling growing over me. As I waited, I heard in the distance a gypsy song, sung by merry voices coming closer, and through their song the rolling of heavy wheels and the cracking of whips. The Cigani and the Slavics, of whom the Count had spoken, were coming. With a last look around and at the box which contained the vile body, I ran from the place and gained the Count's room, determined to rush out at the moment the door should be opened. With strained ears I listened, and heard downstairs the grinding of the key in the great lock, and the falling back of the heavy door. There must have been some other means of entry, or someone had a key for one of the locked doors. Then there came the sound of many feet tramping and dying away in some passage, which sent up a clanging echo. I turned to run down again towards the vault, where I might find the new entrance. But at the moment there seemed to come a violent puff of wind, and the door to the winding stair blew to with a shock that sent the dust from the lintels flying. When I ran to push it open, I found that it was hopelessly fast. I was once again a prisoner, and the net of doom was closing round me more closely. As I write, there is in this passage below a sound of many tramping feet, and the crash of weights being set down heavily, doubtless the boxes, with their freight of earth. There is a sound of hammering. It is the box being nailed down. Now I can hear the heavy feet tramping again along the hall, with many other idle feet coming behind them. The door is shut, and the chains rattle. There is a grinding of the key in the lock. I can hear the key withdraw. Then another door opens and shuts. I hear the creaking of lock and bolt. Hark! In the courtyard and down the rocky way the roll of heavy wheels, the crack of whips, and the chorus of the Cigani as they pass into the distance. I am alone in the castle with those awful women. Faugh! Mina is a woman, and there is naught in common. They are devils of the pit. I shall not remain alone with them. I shall try to scale the castle wall farther than I have yet attempted. I shall take some of the gold with me, lest I want it later. I may find a way from this dreadful place. And then away for home. Away to the quickest and nearest train. Away from this cursed spot, from this cursed land, where the devil and his children still walk with earthly feet. At least God's mercy is better than that of these monsters, and the precipice is steep and high. At its foot a man may sleep, as a man. Goodbye, all. Mina.
All right. Excellent reading.
That
All
was
right,
super
good job.
Mm-hmm.
Old books. We could replace it with Romani, maybe?
Yeah, Roma. That's the term they prefer.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I know, I did read it, and it's like, I am, like, aware of that, but it's also like,
I know you're
but it's also like, old books be dated.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I know
no,
you're
no, it
just
certainly
reading what
is.
you're just reading what it says.
No,
Mhm.
yeah, I understand that. No. It's totally fine. You don't need to
Yeah.
apologize, honey.
Yeah, I'm sorry. She literally I was literally like, okay, because when I read too, I kind of I have to use my mouse to follow the word, and I kind of immediately read the word as I say it, so that it kind of sounds ideally so that it sounds like it flows better. And so I was like, okay, I know it's coming up ahead. I need to say Romani. And then Hazel literally bit me right as I was about to say it. And I was like, ah! And then I'm so sorry, yeah.
You need to kick your cat out
It's
next
okay.
time.
I know,
It's
and I
okay.
tried. And then she's been yowling at the door. So if you've heard her in the background, sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay.
It's okay. I've
And
heard
I
her.
understand, you just read what was written there. No
Mhm.
shame. Just
Yeah.
people know for
It's
future stuff.
I'm also doing the mouse thing because I am struggling really hard to read the wording. So it's
Yeah.
I don't really
Yeah, it's alright.
process.
Mhm.
No, it's totally fine. I just
Yeah.
just,
Or well, I was reading it, it's oh, this is a dated term, but it's
Yeah.
yeah.
and it's I'm
Yeah.
also trying to ignore some I have an intrusive thought problem, so I'm trying to ignore intrusive thoughts while I'm reading, which is making reading very difficult.
Oh,
Yeah, I get that.
yeah.
I get that.
Intrusive thoughts. Oh yes.
I did
Yeah, no,
a
it's totally fine. I just sorry.
no, it's okay. I
No.
did a Control F, and it is 10 times total. They say that.
Oh, okay,
Wow.
that's
Nice. Thank you for looking that up.
Oh,
it's
thank
bad,
you.
but not the worst.
Mhm.
Yeah. I myself am trying to be more mindful with that stuff, especially with that
Yeah.
term,
I don't-
because
Yeah.
I don't
It's-
think the author is bigoted. As far as I know, they're just using a dated term.
Well, yeah, definitely, but still,
yeah,
ideally, it's better to
yeah,
change those wording for
Yeah.
us now
Mhm.
that
yeah.
we know better.
Especially when throughout history that term was used to describe people by, the oppressed group, by people who were not oppressed, in a derogatory way. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. I get that.
just for us to be mindful. No worries.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
I suppose, when we do read classes, maybe we should check for certain outdated terms. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
really what to look for when it comes to
Mhm.
Yeah. I guess you'll know it when you see it.
Although
Yeah.
it does make me question, since we're all since we all are part of the queer community,
Mhm.
whenever we see terms that have been used as a slur against us, do we get to say it because we're
Technically, yeah.
No.
I feel
On a
like, yeah.
technicality, yes.
I guess
Yeah.
depends on. I guess if you feel comfortable with it, then yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Cause
absolutely.
Mhm.
my gay friend joked that he
Hazel, please.
thought it was really funny when he went to a doctor's appointment. They had asked him about his sexuality, and gave a piece of paper where you could check up gay,
Mhm.
straight, other stuff. There was also you could identify as a F slur, among
Oh my
other
god.
things.
Whoa.
Because it's a
What
reclaimed.
doctor? Is that doctor from the fucking 70s?
No, I think it's just
Probably.
a reclaimed word for a lot of gay people, and some of them feel comfortable identifying that way.
yeah.
I guess.
But he
it's
just thought it
bold
was
to
really
have it on
funny.
a
But he
It might-
lives in
have it on
an area of, I think, New Mexico that's actually pretty progressive. So
it might also be a case
Please
of
stop
I
bothering
don't
me.
worry about him.
it might also be a case of doctors seeing them using the reclaimed word and perhaps not really knowing the context
Right,
and
that
accidentally
too.
including that to be included.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that one is not queer, I guess. Because I identify pretty heavily with just queer. Because
Mhm.
Yeah, he just identified as queer on that assessment.
Yeah, I think the idea of like reclaiming a derogatory term or a slur is like that's like totally fine.
I
I
mean,
think any person of that group
Queer
is
used to
able
be a
to do it.
derogatory term.
Beg your pardon?
Queer used to be a derogatory term.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
yeah. So reclaiming that is good, but I think when there's so much heaviness in the word, I think it's best that people not of that group say it.
Yeah, probably.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, like given the history of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like in my case as well. Like, one, I usually just identify as gender queer or agender one because gender is such weird for me. And it's like I also use its pronouns. And
Yeah.
so I have seen that I basically need to not only deal with those on the outside, but I barely have to deal with my own community not respecting me for that.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like,
so hard.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like,
Yeah. I just let people identify as whatever. Like, I don't feel like it's my right to gatekeep terms.
Uh-huh. Sure.
Mhm.
it's like, I am allowed to identify as queer and identify so fucking please.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, but it's a humanizing. Then I guess it's a good thing that I don't really identify as human, now is it?
Yeah, I think people should use whatever labels make them feel comfortable.
Please don't step on my laptop again. Okay. Don't keep drinking my
She's like,
drinks.
say less.
She's just been like the little cameo over here. Like,
She wants to be a part of the gang.
she
Reading.
does.
Does
She's
she
mad
wanna
that I've
read?
been sitting here. When I was
Yeah,
reading, she
you've been
was
sitting there
meowing a lot.
Yeah, you're sitting there not giving her attention. Like, how dare you?
Yeah. She's like,
Yeah.
you've been sitting here for
Blasphemy.
too long, and I've been trying to sit on your laptop to stop you from sitting here for too long, but you're not doing that. So I'm gonna bite you now. And
Speaking of, is your laptop small or is she just big?
she's like the same size as it. Well, the keyboard part, at least.
It's amazing. She's amazing. She's chaotic though.
She is. Oh my goodness, she is. Where did she go? Literally, like 5 seconds ago, she was underneath the bed and like just looking at me upside down underneath the bed, like she was like the Here's Johnny thing from The Shining, but instead of through a door, it was from underneath my bed. She's so weird. Leading from that, though, I think that I need to call it early just to make her chill out a little. So I'll still be around and chat, but I need to leave voice for now.
Okay. Thanks for coming around.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks for the fun times and
Yeah.
reading for next time. Bye bye.
Yeah. Good night.
Oh.
Ah. How are y'all feeling though, in stamina wise?
Great.
Great.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm also going to eat for now, but
Mhm.
I will
Okay.
probably listen to this again. Please do not forget to call my name.
Oh, yes. Um, I
Hey.
I was also gonna say it's a work night for me, and it's almost to my bedtime.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we could always stop right here. No worries about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, thanks everyone as always for joining.
It was fun.
He was lovely.
Yes. But hopefully we get to do it again. We're planning on Sunday being our day of reading.
I suppose so.
Yeah, either that or I know y'all also did hang out, so on Sunday.
It's not like we've been doing that recently.
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we could do like checks to see who's around Sunday night.
Yeah.
Okay, perfecto. Alrighty, yeah, go ahead and end it there. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow's Max's birthday. Hope to see you there. Come, Max is gonna be going for at least
also
12 hours.
thinking about that I should really want to be more loud and proud about the other kin stuff again.
About the what?
About the other kin stuff again.